Hey YouTubers! So guys, if you've been following me for a long time, I know everyone is excited for Jigsaw coming out on October 27th, 2017. Like I've been saying with all of my Saw videos this month, please make sure to go down to the comment section below, and if you leave a comment on this particular topic, then make sure to hashtag becoming Jigsaw, because this is our technically just my road to Jigsaw. You know, we're just going to be really excited until that movie actually comes out. But anyway guys, enough with just the general hype. I have a question that I've been wanting to do a video on for quite a long time. So if you've been following me, you know that I'm excited for these movies. You know I'm a huge fan of these movies. You know that my favorite character in the entire series is Amanda Young, Shawnee Smith's character from Saw 1, 2, 3, and then 6. Of course, she did kind of show up very briefly and was mentioned throughout almost the entire series, but basically being on set, being there to film, and just basically being a major part of the story, only those 4 films. Not that that should really kind of impede her importance to the series, but there's one in particular thing I want to discuss when it comes to Amanda's character in particular, and that is whether or not Amanda was actually right at the ending of Saw 3. So if you guys remember that, and I'll break it down just very briefly. So through 1 and 2, we were basically following Amanda as we kind of went from he helped me to learning, father, leader, and teacher aspect of her relationship with John. But then the third film was a lot more shaky in that, where she was kind of on the fence of everything that was going on, emotionally breaking down at the same time. John doesn't seem to be overly concerned with everything that's going on in her life, although we do know, based on the twist of the Saw 3, she was actually the one being tested all around. And then, of course, looking onward to the last of the films, we do know that Hoffman was setting up and blackmailing Amanda, setting her up to lose, and obviously that kind of was really messing with her mind at that particular time. But we get this really emotional moment around the ending of the movie where she has a gun on Lynn. John has told her to please put down the gun, please allow Lynn to survive, let her go, and her and Jeff could potentially go off into the sunset together. And Amanda just keeps proclaiming, no, nobody changes, it's all a lie, fix me, like all this other stuff. And I'm just wondering, was Amanda right in that aspect? I mean, one of the things that me as a Saw fan, and I'm sure a lot of you as well, have really kind of given a whole lot of relevance to the whole Jigsaw philosophy, especially if you really enjoy what he's trying to do, or at least, you know, the character of John and Jigsaw, and how he's trying to fix people. That's the whole concept of Saw 4 and Saw 5, as we see Hoffman trying to learn exactly what John does, you know, feel how I feel, see what I see, and also my way will allow you to sleep at night, and all this other stuff that we see in Saw 5. But that's actually really interesting when you look at the bigger picture of the Saw franchise, considering those moments between John and Hoffman really take place before even Amanda was in the picture. We get to see and kind of figure out exactly what was on John's mind as he was doing these things, as he was setting up these traps in Saw 1 and 2, or even beyond that, and getting an idea of how he sees this game of his, or this legacy, this philosophy of his. But when you all break it down, the only person he actually ended up saving, until we get to Saw 3D, which we won't be talking about here, but the one person he actually ends up really saving, who goes through the test and has proclaimed to understand everything that he's doing, was Amanda. As we saw in Saw 6 and Saw 5, Hoffman wasn't ever really tested in the same way that Amanda was. She even asked, when is your test? I was like, I don't need testing because, you know, unlike you, I actually appreciated my life. She's like, you don't know what life is, you're dragging your knuckles on the ground type of thing. And it was really interesting if you look at that particular interaction between those two, because these arguably are the two people who are actually closest to John outside of Dr. Gordon, or maybe even Jill. But Jill was still on the fence of whether or not she was agreeing with what John was doing, and we didn't have any idea about Dr. Gordon at the time. So if you look at those interactions between those people, where Hoffman is going along with this because it is kind of feeding his narcissism and his sociopathic natures, at the same time, Amanda's going along with it because she was actually saved from this. And it's interesting when you look at the ending of Saw 3 and looking how she wasn't necessarily changed, and she didn't necessarily change. She's still in her self-harming, everything is kind of falling apart mode, but with a little bit of difference now that she actually has some power over the situation, and she feels like she can control it by sabotaging traps or maybe even killing Lynn, and she's not going to allow John to tell her what to do anymore. And considering the fact that he was testing her throughout the first 3 films with the reverse bear trap scene and also putting her in harm's way when it comes to the nerve gas house, it's really interesting to see how that particular relationship really plays out between those two, and an idea that, yeah, Amanda might be right. Maybe John's philosophy doesn't really work, because in the long run, at least at that particular point, like I said, we're really kind of looking over Saw 3D right now, but at least at that particular point, the one person who had lived long enough with this philosophy and was trying to abide by it was still falling apart at the seams, because even though you'd found some strength, you hadn't really changed yourself for you. You were changing yourself for, as she said, a father, a leader, a teacher. She was following someone else's life path, not necessarily her own, so she just lost herself yet again. And I think that's really kind of compelling when you look at it like that, and also an idea that, yeah, maybe Amanda was actually right in the long run, and that nobody actually changes, and everything he's saying is a lie. And when you think of it like that, it's actually that much more of a depressing type of story, and also really well told story. So guys, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Amanda was right? Do you think John was right, or anything else like that? Have you ever thought about it like that? Because I've always been really fascinated with the interactions between John and Amanda, especially when you look at Saw 3. It's one of the reasons that film is my favorite. It's just so many layers, especially even kind of building the building blocks for the last 4 films, and who knows, maybe there might be some connection between Saw 3 and Jigsaw, considering the fact that they're referencing when Jigsaw died. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Please make sure to go down to the comment section below and share your thoughts and opinions on this. Please make sure to go down and also comment Becoming Jigsaw, like I said at the beginning of the video. But with that being said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button for more Jigsaw content, more videos coming down the line. And also, guys, please make sure to have a good day. It's been real.